The female CEO never lost control because of love, until she hired a black single dad as her driver. The entire boardroom was silent. One of the most powerful women in the city stood at the floor-to-ceiling window overlooking downtown Atlanta, her expression calm and unreadable as executives nervously waited for her decision. For 15 years, she had built a reputation that seemed almost impossible. She never cried. Never panicked. Never allowed emotions to influence her judgment. Investors trusted her because she was always in control. Employees respected her because she never let personal feelings interfere with business. Many believed she was incapable of falling in love. Then a black single father accepted a job as her personal driver. And within a year, the woman who controlled billion-dollar decisions would find herself struggling to control her own heart. Before we begin, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales for more emotional stories that remind us that sometimes the greatest changes in life begin with the people we least expect. At 43 years old, Cassandra Vail was one of the most successful CEOs in the country. She had built her technology company from a tiny startup into an international corporation worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Business magazines featured her on their covers. Universities invited her to speak. Young entrepreneurs studied her career hoping to follow in her footsteps. From the outside, Cassandra appeared to have everything. Money. Power. Respect. Influence. Yet every evening, she returned to an empty penthouse overlooking the city. The silence inside those elegant rooms felt heavier each year. Long ago, Cassandra had experienced heartbreak that changed her completely. During her 20s, she fell deeply in love with a man she believed she would marry. The relationship ended unexpectedly, leaving emotional scars that never fully healed. Afterward, she buried herself in work. Success became her shield. Ambition became her comfort. Over time, she convinced herself she no longer needed love. Business was simpler. Predictable. Controllable. People, on the other hand, often disappointed you. So she built walls around her heart and focused exclusively on her career. For years, the strategy worked. Until the day she met Ezekiah Rhodes. At 39 years old, Ezekiah lived a life completely different from Cassandra's. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't famous. He wasn't powerful. He was simply a hardworking single father trying to give his daughter the best life possible. 7 years earlier, his wife, Naomi, had passed away following complications from a rare illness. The loss shattered him. One day he was planning family vacations. The next, he was sitting beside a hospital bed saying goodbye to the person he loved most. His daughter, 11-year-old Samira, became his reason to keep moving forward. Everything he did revolved around her. Every sacrifice. Every decision. Every goal. Before sunrise each morning, Ezekiah prepared breakfast, packed lunches, and got Samira ready for school. Then he worked. Afterward, he returned home to help with homework, cook dinner, and create as much joy as possible despite the challenges they faced. Life wasn't easy. Money was often tight. Grief still visited unexpectedly. But their small home overflowed with love. When Cassandra's longtime driver retired unexpectedly, the company began searching for a replacement. Dozens of candidates applied. Most possessed impressive resumes. Yet during interviews, one candidate stood out. Ezekiah. His qualifications were solid, but what impressed Cassandra most was something she couldn't easily explain. His sincerity. His calm presence. His quiet confidence. Unlike other applicants trying to impress her, he seemed completely comfortable being himself. Against expectations, she hired him. At first, their relationship remained strictly professional. Every morning, Ezekiah arrived punctually. Every afternoon, he drove Cassandra between meetings, conferences, and corporate events. Neither shared much personal information. Neither expected anything beyond professional courtesy. Yet over time, small observations began changing everything. Cassandra noticed that Ezekiel always called his daughter during lunch breaks. No matter how busy the day became, he found a few minutes to check on her. Sometimes he reminded her about school assignments. Sometimes he simply asked how her day was going. The conversations were brief but meaningful. The devotion fascinated Cassandra. She had spent years surrounded by executives who prioritized work above everything else. Watching someone prioritize family felt strangely refreshing. Meanwhile, Ezekiel noticed things about Cassandra that others overlooked. He saw how hard she worked. How much responsibility she carried. How exhausted she often looked after endless meetings. Despite her reputation for being intimidating, he sensed loneliness beneath the polished exterior. The more time they spent together, the more those observations deepened. Then came the first unexpected turning point. One sunny afternoon, Cassandra's schedule changed unexpectedly. A meeting ended early, leaving several free hours. As they drove through the city, she noticed Ezekiel seemed distracted. Concerned, she asked if everything was okay. For the first time, he shared something personal. Samira's school was hosting a daytime science exhibition. She had spent months preparing. Unfortunately, work commitments meant he would probably miss it. The disappointment in his voice was impossible to ignore. Without hesitation, Cassandra adjusted her afternoon schedule. She instructed him to attend the event. The surprise on his face stayed with her long afterward. Later that evening, she found herself smiling while reviewing emails. The feeling confused her. Helping an employee shouldn't have affected her so deeply. Yet somehow it had. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Gradually, the walls around Cassandra's heart began cracking. Not because of grand romantic gestures. Not because of dramatic moments. Because of small acts of humanity. She saw Ezekiel helping elderly strangers carry groceries. She saw him comforting a coworker experiencing personal difficulties. She saw him treat every person with equal respect regardless of status. The qualities that made him a remarkable father also made him a remarkable human being. For the first time in years, Cassandra admired someone not for their achievements, but for their character. The realization frightened her. She had spent years avoiding emotional vulnerability. Now emotions were finding their way in anyway. Meanwhile, Samira unexpectedly entered the story. One afternoon, Cassandra attended a company family event. Employees brought children, spouses, and relatives. The gathering took place in a large park beneath bright daytime skies. There she finally met the young girl she had heard so much about. Samira immediately impressed everyone. She was intelligent, kind, and remarkably mature for her age. Most importantly, she adored her father. Watching them together affected Cassandra more than she expected. The bond between them was undeniable. Pure. Authentic. Unbreakable. For someone who had spent years feeling disconnected from meaningful relationships, witnessing that connection was deeply emotional. Then everything changed. A major corporate crisis struck the company. A competitor launched an aggressive campaign targeting clients and investors. Stock prices fluctuated. Media scrutiny intensified. Pressure mounted daily. Executives panicked. The board demanded answers. Normally, Cassandra thrived during crises. This time felt different. The stress became overwhelming. One evening after a particularly brutal day, she remained in the office long after sunset. The city lights sparkled outside her window. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her shoulders. When she finally left the building, she discovered Ezekiel waiting patiently despite being dismissed hours earlier. He had stayed because he sensed she shouldn't be alone. That simple act shattered something inside her. Not weakness. Not control. Loneliness. For years, she had convinced herself she didn't need anyone. Yet in that moment, she realized how much she missed having someone who genuinely cared. Someone who saw the person behind the title. Someone who stayed not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Months later, the company successfully overcame the crisis. The danger passed. Business stabilized. Life returned to normal. Except nothing felt normal anymore. Cassandra could no longer pretend her feelings didn't exist. The woman who had mastered every challenge in business found herself facing something far more complicated. Love. Not the reckless kind she experienced in her youth. A quieter love. A deeper love. Built on trust, admiration, friendship, and respect. The kind that grows slowly and changes everything. One beautiful spring afternoon, nearly a year after hiring Ezekiel, the company hosted a charity event supporting families affected by medical hardships. Employees gathered beneath clear blue skies. Children played nearby. Music drifted through the air. As Cassandra watched Ezekiel laughing with Samira, she realized something important. Control had protected her from pain. But it had also protected her from happiness. And perhaps real strength wasn't about avoiding vulnerability. Perhaps real strength was finding the courage to embrace it. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and leave a comment below. Your support helps more people discover stories about hope, healing, and the unexpected ways love enters our lives. Special request: comment, "Love changes everything," if you believe the strongest relationships are built on trust, kindness, and genuine respect. As the golden afternoon sunlight illuminated the park and laughter echoed across the grass, Cassandra understood a truth that no business school had ever taught her. Success can build an empire. Discipline can build a career. Determination can build a fortune. But only love can build a life. And sometimes the person who changes your world isn't the one you were searching for. Sometimes it's the person who quietly walks into your life, shows you what truly matters, and reminds you that even the strongest hearts deserve a place to belong. For the first time in many years, Cassandra wasn't thinking about profits, investors, or board meetings. She was thinking about possibility. And that possibility felt more valuable than every success she had ever achieved. I hope this version matches the emotional, cinematic, and heartwarming storytelling style you're looking for your YouTube channel.